and talking to the president of Major League Eating. And each and every year, we have this interview ahead of the 4th of July Coney's hot dog eating contest in Coney, Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest in Coney Island. Rich Shea joining us today on the program. And Rich, it's great to talk to you again. How you doing?
I'm well. Thanks for having me back on. It's an exciting week. We're here since, I guess, just 8 days out.
Ellerby, I don't know how long we've done this. Troy D started rolling with this. It's got to be at least 10 years now, but it is an annual tradition to have Rich on to talk about this awesome event going on next week.
Yeah, it is a made-for-TV event, much watched TV. And Rich, how excited are you for the 2023 Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Contest next week?
Yeah, I'm pretty psyched. I mean, last year we were able to get back to the corner of Surf and Stillwell Avenues. So we had done it in 20. We had to do it inside. Really kind of just really quiet and brutal due to the pandemic. In 21, we did it in the Cyclones, which minor league ball field next door to Nathan's. Last year, we got back to the corner, had a huge crowd. This year, I think it'll be even better. I think while Joey is still the odds-on favorite, Wary and Esper, I think, have a little bit more belief in their game, so it could be a fun day.
You mentioned the legend, Joey Chestnut, and Rich, I was looking up some odds before you came on the show today, and of course, Joey Chestnut is the favorite. And what I'm looking at, minus 2,500, so an overwhelming favorite once again. It has been just a dynasty for Joey Chestnut over the years, and we ask you every year we have you on, when will this dynasty come to an end? When will it come close to coming to an end? But how about Joey Chestnut heading into this year's event, once again, the overwhelming favorite, I guess?
Yeah, he is the favorite. He's not as young as he once was. Neither am I. He's like the Cal Ripken of the calorie. This guy. He doesn't seem to be slowing down. I will say, he did lose to Nick Wary in a pistachio eating contest. Not so much about volume, but wonderful pistachios from the shell. And he lost to Esper not so long ago, a couple weeks ago in a donut hole eating championship. So the thing about this, and I know we've talked about it before, is when it comes to hot dogs, just no one is as committed or as skilled as Joey. And it's he knows that this is our Masters, right, and our World Cup, and he just brings it all to this day. The question will be, does he falter in the first 5 minutes? Does he lose a minute? And by that I mean, does he have a 6 hot dog minute? As opposed to an 8 or a 9 or a 10 out of the gate. If that's the case, then a guy like Esper, I think, would be his biggest threat.
Rich, for someone just tuning in for the first time and wanting to know the legend of Joey Chestnut, the GOAT of Major League Eating, if he were to win this year, how many mustard belts would that be? And he owns the world record, too. What's the world record standing at right now?
So in 21, Joey ate 76. It was the spirit of 76. 76 Nathan's hot dogs and buns in 10 minutes. He has won 15 of the last 16 events, so he'd be going for his 16th. And I actually call him the Joeyest of all time.
Rich, you mentioned was it Esper as someone that could be his up and coming foe here? Is there someone, if Joey is the Tom Brady, the Michael Jordan of your sport, is there who are the new faces? Is there the next Joey Chestnut coming up the ranks in Major League Eating right now?
So this year, I think when you watch the program, and I'm not fully conversant on a couple of these guys. We have Max Suzuki from Japan, but also 2 other Japanese eaters who I have not witnessed compete, but they put away some pretty big foods, pretty big numbers. So I'll be interested to watch them. There is a guy from Australia who will be his second year in Coney Island. He ate 59 Nathan's hot dogs and buns. That's a big number. This guy named James Webb from Australia. So I'd keep an eye on him. I think. Esper is not a young guy. He's been around for probably eight or more years. He is the number 2 ranked eater in the world for a reason, out of the Boston area. And then Miki Sudo, the female champion, her husband, Nick Wary, who, is now ranked number 4 in the world, just behind Mickey. That's a dude that can certainly put away some food.
That's a heck of a dinner bill. You got a couple that are both competitive eaters. That's tough right there. Richard, I was going to kind of tongue-in-cheek ask you, is there a Victor Wimbayama, like an international guy that's going to come over and do what Ellerby said and kind of be the next big thing? And you said there, a couple guys from Japan, Australia. Of course, Kobayashi was there before Joey Chestnut began his reign. So how international has MLE, has this competitive eating got over the years?
Yeah, so we have Korea and Brazil also represented this year. So, and we go all around the world, but the bulk of our events are here in the U.S. I would like to be more international. To be honest, I think we should do. We've done the whole Pacific Rim. We've done Europe. We've been to Germany. We're going to the U.K. Actually, I'm doing a Nathan's event in the UK this late August. But that is sort of the through line beyond Joey and Mickey and their greatness. Can someone knock those two off? The storyline this year to me is like keeping an eye on these international competitors, because we kind of know where the Americans are once you get below, a Warian and Esper.
What are the rules to qualify for the Nathan famous hot dog eating contest? And, how many people can you have in a contest each year too?
So we'll have 16 men and 16 women. We did 4 wild cards this year because still resting ourselves out of COVID. We used to do like 13, 14 wild card qualifiers. Now we're doing 6 or 7. So hopefully that should next year get back to its normal number. But basically, you go to a qualifying event. We had a couple in Ohio. There's one in Vegas. You could fly to England and do that one in August, and you could qualify for next year. But you have to win a qualifier or nab one of these wild cards, which would be in this year's case one of the top 4 second place finishers in a qualifier.
Richard Shea, President, MLE, joining us here on the Pirate Radio Live Line. We've talked to Rich for so long now, we almost assume that all of you out there know about Major League Eating. So let's take it all the way back, Richard. How did this become a staple for the 4th of July? You guys have carved it out where this is your day. Everybody knows it's on television, knows where to go to find it. And how did that come to be? Kind of tell us about how it all got started for you guys with Major League Eating.
So we didn't create competitive eating, obviously. So you can go back, hundreds of years. You can get images in your head of like some kids in a cherry pie eating contest, in the cherry harvest, right? Certainly predates us, but my brother George, who wears the straw hat on the stage, a couple years older than me, he was doing PR for the contest and really enjoyed it. We started our own PR firm and took Nathan's with us and leaned into the Nathan's event and started getting it, some much more recognition and much more press coverage, and that resulted in other festivals and other food brands calling us and saying, "Can you do the same or similar for us?" So we've ended up working with all variety of mom and pop shops up into like regional places like Rouse's Markets and Greater Louisiana, to Pizza Hut, and Qdoba. Joey ate 14.5 Qdoba burritos this year in Milwaukee and just edged out Esper, who had him the whole way except for the last minute. But basically, we kind of developed it into a sport, gave it the trappings of sport, and we were to advance it all safely and archive the results. So we've been quite fortunate. The ESPN show, which is, I believe the first year was 2004. That certainly helped, back then, especially bring it to the masses before social media is what it is today. And then you really got to credit the eaters. Guys like Kobayashi helped change the game. Joey Chestnut obviously has helped establish the game for sure. Sonia Thomas no longer competing, an amazing female competitor. She ate 48 dozen Acme oysters in New Orleans once. Great moments like that. So you got to credit the eaters for getting out on the road and spreading the gospel.
Major League Baseball has invented the pitch clock, and there's always tweaks and changes in all the leagues. What's new with Major League Eating, and maybe in particular to the hot dog eating contest coming up next week?
There's not. We went through, and I'm sure, Jonathan, we spoke about this, over the years. We went through, periods where we had to instill new rules. The biggest thing that ever happened with us was in 2008, which is quite a while now. Someone dropped off. They were redoing some stuff in Coney Island, like not at Nathan's, but nearby, raising a building basically. And someone found this the New York Times called it ephemera, like just some old papers, and it was Nathan Handworker's handwritten rules for how to have a contest. And you can still find the story in the New York Times. Basically, it was a 10-minute contest. Up until that date, up until 2008, we had always done 12-minute contests. Ever since then, we moved it back to its original 10-minute length, and of course, Joey actually set more records with less time than back when it was 12 minutes. But we've had dunking rules and things like that you have to keep an eye on dunking. But the game has evolved and the stakes are higher. These eaters are pros and they don't really fiddle around anymore. So we have our framework, but nothing new going into this year. Same event as you saw last year. Just a different day.